Hello and welcome to Living Karma Yoga. I'm Nancy McCocken, and this is a program that brings you all that the yoga world has to offer you. Not only posture or asana, which is what most people associate with yoga. Oh, I'm going to go to a yoga class and stretch out and maybe do some arm balances. But yoga is so much more and offers so much more to help us take our yoga off the mat, which is really what it's about. There are meditation practices, there are breathing practices. We're all breathing, but maybe not as efficiently as we could, and some of the pranayamas, the breathing exercises, really help hone that and deepen the oxygen exchange in the lungs. We have mantra, which is chanting, and mind training is the simplistic translation of mantra. And then we have travel, we have nutrition, Ayurveda, which is a system of health and nutrition. There's so much more that yoga has to offer, because we're only in yoga class for, maybe 45 to 90 minutes, and then the rest of the time we're out interacting with the world. So yoga actually helps train us to all of the various disciplines within the yoga, help us be more vibrant and alive, more prosperous and happier, more joyful. And that's what yoga tells us is our birthright, that we have this joy inside of us, and it's the habits, the conditioning that prevent us from accessing that. So that's what yoga's about, everything. And this program brings you tools to help you live more joyfully, and it's a life that we all so truly deserve. My guest today is Lynn Medow. She's been a friend of mine ever since I moved to Michigan. Actually, before I moved to Michigan, I met her in 2001 in May. She has an advanced or is designated as an experienced registered yoga teacher at the 500-hour level, which means she has at least 500 hours of training and probably closer to 1,000 by now. She's also a certified yoga therapist with the International Association of Yoga Therapy. She's a former dancer and a puppeteer, former camp director. She spent 22 years in a nonprofit world guiding people with developmental disabilities to reach their full potential. She's very dedicated to helping people and giving people access to the things that they need to live more fully. She's the owner of Yoga by Design and the founder of the Yoga and president of the Yoga by Design Foundation. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is the foundation. It's a Michigan-based 501c3 tax-exempt organization that transforms lives through the healing practices of yoga, mindfulness, and meditation. It empowers underserved individuals and populations to live to their highest potential by paying teachers to teach these populations. Many people think that yoga should be done for free. We should give our time because we're yoga teachers and we're altruistic. The fact is that we need to eat and pay the bills, and so Lynn's foundation helps to bring teachers and to pay teachers for these populations. She's also an IAYT certified yoga therapist and one of Karma's most senior teachers and most accomplished. She's the go-to person for students with injuries and or questions about yoga therapeutics. She understands and is excited to help people, understands the bodies and understands what people need, and is very excited to help them. Welcome.
Thank you, Nancy. That was amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know that person.
Yeah, I know. So you've dedicated your life to advocating for persons who are among the various underserved populations in society. And can you tell me just a little bit about your work before you became a yoga teacher?
Well, my main career, after being a puppeteer and a camp director, was to work with an organization called JARC, which is now nationally known, and it's to work with people with developmental disabilities in housing and a number of other programs. And I started there when we were very small. There were, I think, 3 employees, and it really grew into a multi-million-dollar organization.
And what was your final position?
My final position.
When I met you, maybe not the final, but the one when I met you in 2001.
Well, I served in many capacities, from the assistant director to volunteer coordinator, Judaica coordinator, program coordinator,
Okay.
all those different things over the years.
Okay, so you did it all,
Right.
basically. Okay. So what prompted you to start, first of all, how did you get into yoga and why?
Well, I always had wanted to do yoga, and I was close to 40, and I said, well, I'm going to start. And I just walked into a yoga studio and took a class and felt I had come home.
Wow.
And I haven't stopped since.
Wow. Yeah, that makes me want to cry. That's the way I felt too, actually. So what prompted you to start the Yoga by Design Foundation?
I've always been interested in the therapeutic side because, as you said, I do really like to help people. So I was at the International Association of Yoga Therapists conference in California, and I listened to a presentation from a woman who started a nonprofit to offer yoga and meditation for people who were homeless. And I thought to myself,
wow,
we can do that here. We can do that in Michigan, or I can do that. And that was about in 2007. And that was like a seed that was planted. And sometime in 2011, I thought it was time, and I just walked into an attorney's office and say, how do I do this? And I filled out the paperwork to become a 501c3. Took 6 to 9 months to go through the approval process, and then the Yoga by Design Foundation was born.
Wow, and so for a long time, you were it, right?
Correct. Correct. We have definitely grown. In the beginning, there was me. I've always had wonderful volunteers. We are a volunteer-driven organization. Most of the money, and I can't give you the exact percentage, we have one part-time operations manager who is wonderful, but most of our money goes directly into programs to pay teachers.
And that's really unusual for for many, I think, nonprofits.
Right.
Because there's
our overhead is very small. We don't have an office, and so that really cuts down on expenses.
Cool. And what's the mission?
The mission, as you so aptly described it, is to offer yoga, meditation, and mindfulness to underserved and under-resourced populations in Michigan.
And how do you find these people?
Generally what happens is a teacher with a specific interest partners with a nonprofit, a school, or a hospital, and comes together and writes a grant. So as opposed to developing our own programs, which we have done some, but as I don't have really paid administrative staff, I usually rely on the nonprofit and the teacher. Generally also, our teachers are very experienced, so they have an interest in one specific population. They've done a lot of extra training and have experience in working with that particular population. Okay, so now can you tell me the programs that you do or what populations you work with? If I take out my glasses and my... So, we have programs at Freedom House for political refugees and victims of human trafficking. That actually was our first program, and we are still running it. Vista Maria, which is for traumatized youth, and that is a residential program. And where is Vista Maria? On Dearborn Heights. Okay. We have a program for Enhance, which is for women with developmental disabilities. And we have a program called REACH. It means Restore, Exhale, and Align with a Community of Healing. It's a partner program with the Angel Pillow Project. It's for everybody who is a cancer survivor. Okay, good. And that takes place at Karma Yoga. On Mondays. On Mondays, right. Covenant House for homeless young adults between 18 and 24. In Mind is a meditation, mindfulness / yoga program at two Title IX schools. I don't think I have that name right, but it's schools where most of the children are on the poverty level. So,
right. Okay.
And that is a program, and one of them is for all the kids in the school and the teachers.
Wow. How many students? I mean, how many sessions do you run? I mean, that's kind of mind-boggling.
It is. We have this incredible teacher who's gone through all these different trainings, and they have a place where the children can come to when they feel like they need to, and so it's really amazing.
Wow.
She's done an amazing job.
Wow.
We are at the VA for women with military sexual trauma. We partner with the St. Clair Butterfly Foundation through Madison schools.
So what's the Butterfly Foundation?
The St. Clair Butterfly Foundation was created by Chip St. Clair. He has an incredible story. You'll have to go onto their website to hear about it. But he offers programs for underserved children. It's a lot of arts and then yoga.
Okay.
And so through this program in a couple schools in Madison, and we're hopefully going to be able to expand into East Detroit as well. It's yoga for kids who have been abused, kids who are struggling in school, etc. We run 2 programs through the Calumet Center in Highland Park, which is for incarcerated young men. And we've just added our 2nd program there.
And so how old are these? This is like young adults?
They're young adults,
Okay.
yes. And I think that's it for right now.
Okay, that's a lot, and that's grown over the last
since
7 years.
2011.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah,
that's absolutely incredible.
there's some programs that we started and stopped, but these are the programs, and these programs have been pretty consistent. In Mind and Vista Maria are our newest programs.
Okay, so now the programs. So what kind of results have you seen?
The results are really amazing. My favorite story of all time, and this is when we were running a few more programs at the VA, is when a veteran came to the yoga teacher and said, I was rear-ended the other day. And these are veterans with PTSD. And he said, I was so upset and so angry, I was going to get out of my car and shoot the person who hit me. And he said to the wonderful teacher, he said, I heard your voice in my head. I sat in my car, I called the police, I did my yoga breathing and waited for them to come.
Wow.
I think that just speaks volumes for the effect that these programs can have, and these classes and these techniques. A lot of the children will say, especially because they come from very chaotic households, that they use the breathing techniques to go to sleep. One young man through the Madison schools shared how he used one of the mantras or one of the sayings that the teacher had shared with his little brother, and they say it together every night before they go to bed.
Wow.
Another student said, I wish you could come to my home and teach all these people around me some of this so that we had more peace.
Wow.
So it really makes a big difference. And these, in my way of thinking, these are tools for a lifetime. As you said, I believe, you know, the yoga really starts when you step off the mat and into your life.
Right. So those are beautiful stories, and it reminds me, because I'm so involved in the yoga community and don't know very many people except my family who are not doing yoga. And so it reminds me of how chaotic the world was and how chaotic my life was before I came to yoga, and what a profound difference it can make. So stories like these are absolutely phenomenal. And the yoga is helping people live better and absolutely changing their lives. Who knows what the trajectory of those lives are going to be as a result of these techniques. So let's see. Where do funds come from? This is the important one for now.
That's it. Well, the funds come from just private fundraising.
Okay.
We have one big event each year. It's our Yogathon. It's coming up Sunday, September 16th. And other than that, we have some people who give us some money every month. We try to apply for some grants, and we've gotten some very small ones over the years, but it's kind of nickel and dime trying to raise the money.
So where are the posters?
We forgot to bring the posters
into the room, right? I know. Okay, so can you tell me about the yoga day?
Okay, the Yogathon.
Yogathon, yeah.
Okay, it's Sunday, September 16th
Okay.
at Karma Yoga in Bloomfield Hills.
Right.
And Karma Yoga donates the studio for the day, which is an incredible donation.
Right.
And all the teachers, we have really the top-notch teachers in the community, come in and teach classes, and they volunteer their time, and people pay for tickets, and they come and take the classes. And we can have as many as 40 students per class. And it's a wonderful day. Each participant gets a gift bag. We have donors who give us gift bags. We have an incredible raffle with over $12,000 worth of prizes with all these incredible local donors and wonderful sponsors, and we have vendors, and so it's a very, very festive day.
It's a very festive, balloons and people coming and going. You know, I've helped with it for a while, and it's really, really a fun community building thing. And can you talk about some of the classes, because you mentioned that they're top-notch teachers, but this year you've got some unusual offerings. It's not just our usual like Hatha yoga. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Right. We have our Ashtanga yoga, and then our Hatha yoga, our Kundalini yoga.
Right.
And then we do something where people have an opportunity to sit and meditate and reflect and do some very simple movements. So it's more for people who can't do quite as much, and it's entitled to stay optimistic in chaotic times. Okay. This year, for the first time, we have a wonderful class, Inferno Hot Pilates. So it's doing a Pilates movements on a yoga mat. And we're very excited.
In a heated room?
In a heated room. And it's a lot of fun. The music is great. And I'm very, very excited for this. And then we have our Anusara yoga, and then we relax at the end with incredible gongs. And that's how we conclude our day.
So it sounds like a wonderful day, and something that, because there's so many different kinds, somebody could come and do 2 or 3 classes, because there's a rhythm to it. There's energetic classes, and there are also meditation and movement, not just yoga movement, but other movement. So it sounds wonderful.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the ring, there's an amazing ring that's a prize. So the way the raffle works, and correct me if I'm wrong, that names are pulled, or tickets are pulled, basically, because we're selling tickets at the studio, and you can get some online too at the Yoga YBDF.org. But this ring is like incredible, set in gold with 3, I think it's amethysts?
Vortex amethysts.
Yes, I put it on my finger and thought, oh, I want this.
It was especially created for us. The gems were created by Gemscapes, and the ring was designed and created by Joe Campanelli of Campanelli and Pear, and it's valued over $3,000.
Yeah, that's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And one of our students, Shara Shank, is Gemscapes, and she does this amazing, amazing work, and you'd never know that she has such beautiful eye and hands. Also, one of our students, one of my students in particular, on Sundays, Ken Axelrad, does digital painting, which is, he takes images of flowers and creates them on the computer, and then somehow there's a machine that just puts that on canvas.
Yeah,
it's like
beautiful.
incredible.
Absolutely.
And other jewelry and other paintings. It's really fantastic. I've been a little bit like miffed as the studio manager because there's so much. The raffle prizes are on display in the studio as well as a lot of other things do. It's like, oh my gosh.
Nancy, I promise it'll all be gone after Sunday, September 16th.
I know, but it's really absolutely beautiful, and it's so much fun to walk in and see the artwork behind the desk. It's really, really lovely. You've said where the funds come from. So in 2016, you received a Point of Light Award. Can you explain what that is?
The senior President George Bush created the Points of Light Awards. And one is given in the nation every day. So 365 days a year, one person in the country receives a Point of Light Awards. And I was honored to receive one in 2016. And it's because I run the Yoga by Design Foundation voluntarily, and it was felt that it made an impact in people's lives. And so I was really honored to receive that. I was invited to come to the national conference, which happened to take place that year in Detroit at Cobo Hall. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and was presented the award by one of the Bush brothers, which was wonderful. One of the things that I really noticed, and it really clarified for me even more my vision for the Yoga by Design Foundation, is there were thousands of people there, and all these organizations, and many of them provide everything that people need. Their food, clothing, housing, medical care. But it really reinforced for me that what we're teaching through YBDF are tools for living. That these are things that can help people take advantage of all these other things that people are giving them and providing for them, because they can calm down. Okay, they can release some of the negativity and become their true, strong selves.
Right, and there's just so much, and even without the challenges that some of these people face, our lives are like nuts these days with all the information, the inputting, and here buy this, and no, you need this, and to be whole you have to do that, and so added to that, you know, physical or mental or economic difficulties, I imagine, is very, very difficult. So calmness, that is my favorite thing. My favorite thing is to watch clouds, to do nothing, to just space out, if that's not quite the word, but to find yoga brain, because the calmness that is so elusive in our society, that if we can give that to people and help them understand that this can be a point or a place from which to interact with the world, whether it's good or bad. We don't have to react to it, which I think a lot of us do in our daily lives, but we can kind of step back and be calm and find some inner resources. And I think that that's what you're helping people do.
Right. One of the young men in incarceration shared with the teacher, he wasn't really interested in doing the physical practice of yoga, but he really appreciated the meditation. And he never had experienced anything like that. And he said, this is something I'm going to use.
Wow.
I need this.
Wow, that's really beautiful. Yeah. And we've run out of time. So
well, thank you, Nancy, for this opportunity.
Welcome. You're welcome. But seriously, the Yoga by Design Foundation's annual Yogathon, and this is the 8th year, right?
Correct.
Is being held soon. It's Sunday,
September 16th
at Karma Yoga all day. We start at 7.
6:30.
6:30, okay. So if you're up at 6:30 on Sunday, you go, why? Because it's an incredible class, that's why. With Matthew Darling, who's, I think, is he still the only certified Ashtanga teacher in Michigan?
Close. I'm not exactly sure. But.
And that certification is difficult to get because you've got to study with the descendants of the person who originated the lineage. So it's not just like you can go out and, okay, I'm an Ashtanga teacher. This is something very special. And we end at 6:30 at night?
6 o'clock, yes.
6 o'clock at night. So come out and join us. Go to the ybdf.org, that website, to find the list of events and all of the happenings in the day, to buy your raffle tickets. I know I've just sold a friend $100 worth, and I'm going to do my own bit to get that ring. Yeah. So it's a very, very wonderful, worthwhile community celebration of yoga and helping others. Thank you for watching and listening, and if you're interested in coming to Karma, which we'd love to have you do, you can find our schedule at www.karma-yoga.net. You'll find our website, you'll see the schedule, you'll have the list of teachers. We hope to see you at the studio for the Yogathon and for classes. And thank you for joining, and namaste.
May the long time sun